people were reaching out who is going to be on the bookings for the ad, you know.
I think it's
Actually, that's going to be an interesting idea to find somebody.
I don't think we can do it here.
Huh?
I don't think we can do it here. It's 290.
Ah, so you want to go through?
Yeah, let's find a space.
Yes. Yeah. You mean the. Okay, yes. From a site map.
Oh, I don't know where though.
I'll try and look at the room.
She's probably trying now. That's who. Hi, Giovanna, can you hear me? Um, hello.
Do you see me now? And you hear me?
I think I'm not sure if you're muted or I'm not hearing.
Do you hear me? No.
Oh, there we go.
Let me see. Switch to.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. Yeah. I know there are always technical issues, so I was expecting. I'm not surprised that. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't log in as panelist, but honestly, yeah, I put my email and yeah, I put the email I sent you, but yeah, I guess it
Yeah.
didn't work. But yeah, I'm glad you fixed it. So and nice to meet you.
Nice to
So
meet you. This is my colleague Ron, who's going to be helping me out today.
okay, fantastic.
We have another colleague called Matt, and he will be moderating the session. So he will introduce you before you start.
Okay.
I think so. He will introduce you with your bio and then sort of give you the chance to speak about your paper. So you have free reign how you want that to how
Okay.
you present that.
Okay. No, I have some slides, so I don't know if you want to test it. Yeah, they should work. Okay, you need to enable me to share this.
Sorry?
I also disabled participant screen sharing. So
Let me see.
if you can enable me to share my screen, would be great.
Let me just
No.
just bear with me.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I do. Can you not hear me?
You
I
are
think,
muted.
oh, let me check that. I shouldn't be.
Micros.
Am I on mute? I'm not.
Okay, now
Can you hear me?
can you try? I don't hear you.
Oh,
Can you hear me? Yeah, I don't hear you.
you can't hear me at all? Let me just,
Try.
hello, 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 hello.
No.
Now?
No.
No. Uh,
But I can share the screen now.
can you hear me now?
But I still don't hear you.
Let's see.
Do you see my screen?
I do, yes.
Yes, but I don't hear you, so I don't know why. Let me see if it's my problem.
I think it's because I've got the headset on. Okay.
Can you try to speak?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear you.
No.
Can you try without the microphone? Let's just to test and see. Okay, try now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't hear you.
Oh,
So I don't know.
wait. What's this? Hello, 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 hello. Can you hear me? No.
I still don't hear you. And that's a problem because I need to hear you. I was like hearing you before, so I don't know what is going on.
Hmm.
Try now? Okay, now I hear something.
Can you hear now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Luckily, we have the practice
Mhm.
session.
Yeah,
And do you see my screen? Right.
I do see your screen, yes.
Okay, let's try to do show beginning. Okay. Do you see correctly?
Yeah, I can see it as a slideshow.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so I stop sharing and I keep my presentation here so I can easily share it. Okay, good. I think.
So I think once you are done with the your presentation, would we do the Q&A during or after? After, right?
Yeah, the Q&A usually is at the end.
Yeah, I will do it after because yeah, we can have a discussion.
Yeah.
If
And
I receive questions like, but usually I do after and
okay, yeah, that's fine.
but yeah.
So we can get Matt, who will be moderating, to let everyone know that you will do the Q&A afterwards, and then he will just collect all the questions that we get and then
Okay, perfect.
send them after. Do you have any questions at all?
No. Do you feel like computer scientists will join or more legal
No, we
people?
expect that it will be more computer scientists.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah. We're just trying to get a room to station ourselves. So we have an office, but there are a few meetings happening there. So I'll just mute myself, and then we get a desk to sit at, and then we can.
Okay.
We've got about 6 minutes.
Okay, perfect. I will stay online just
Yeah,
to make
same.
sure that.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine. I will
perfect.
stay online as well. Okay, speak soon.
Okay, perfect. Bye.
Welcome everyone to the seminar. We will be discussing a very exciting and interesting paper from Giovanna. This paper is about using computer science to detect cheat tolerant cartels. It's highly relevant in different fields, and that is shown by Giovanna Massarotto, experience in tech law and economics. In this case, Giovanna, she is an academic fellow at the Center for Technology, Innovation, and Competition at the University of Pennsylvania. It is also an affiliate of UCL Center for Blockchain Technologies, and we have the pleasure to have her today. She Massarotto's scholarship, she is focused on how technology affects society at this very interesting intersection of law, economics, and computer science, from where you can do many type of different analysis. She is an active scholar and also author of Antitrust Settlements, How Simple Agreement Can Drive the Economy, which was published by Wolters Kluwer. And also, in addition to this book, she has published multiple articles that investigate antitrust and regulatory issues related to blockchain, digital markets, and software. Massarotto's overarching goal is to bridge law with computer science and advocate for the necessary changes in law to secure a trustworthy innovation. And Giovanna attained her PhD at Bocconi University in Milan. Thank you, Giovanna, for speaking and sharing to us today your paper. We very much look forward to see what you have to share. And also, we will try to share some questions with you at the end that the audience might have. We can proceed and present us your work.
Okay, thank you so much for having me today and for the opportunity to share my latest paper, so to present my latest paper with you, and I look forward to receiving comments, feedback, and any question at the end of the presentation. So let me share my screen. Okay, can you confirm that you see my slides correctly?
Yes, we can see your slides.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, my paper is about using computer science to detect cheat-tolerant cartels. It's part of a series of papers I'm writing in which I propose the introduction of a computer science approach into the present legal and economic antitrust analysis. So for who is not familiar with antitrust law, the main goal of antitrust law is to enforce competition principles in markets, so to make sure that markets are competitive and they work well. So we mainly tackle in antitrust monopolies and cartels. And this paper is about cartels, which is one of the most severe, we will see, anti-competitive conduct in the field of antitrust. So this is the outline of my presentation and of my paper, so I will briefly introduce to you cartels. We will see how computers can build strong cartels and what are the solutions that I suggest to tackle these cartels more effectively by using computer science. So first of all, okay, what's the problem? As mentioned, antitrust law is markets are competitive and companies are playing fairly, and so we tackle competitors because cartels because they can both achieve the same results. So reduce competition. So in a monopoly you have one company that sets the monopoly price and can set the monopoly price, which is the highest price in a market because it's the only company. The other scenario is that you have competitors that can set the same monopoly price if they can agree on charging the monopoly price, which is the highest price. So why it's bad for competition? So in antitrust, our standard is the consumer welfare. So we want to make sure that consumers are better off. And how we do that? Making sure there is competition so a consumer can benefit from lower prices. And so you cannot have these lower prices if competitors reach an agreement, they coordinate their conduct in a way that they set the monopoly price. So let's assume, as you can see in this figure, we have Alex, Bob, Alice, and Maria. They are the only producers of coffee in the US, let's say, market, but it can be also the UK, up to you. So they agree to charge the same price, which is 10. So there is no competition, so you cannot, as consumer, benefit from a lower price, let's say 8. The good news, so this is why cartels are really anti-competitive and something that in antitrust law we really care we want to fight. So the good news is that cartels are unstable. Why? Because cartel members, so competitors, know that if they engage in this agreement, this anti-competitive agreement, this is illegal. So they cannot go before a judge and ask to enforce the terms of a cartel if someone cheats. So it doesn't comply with the terms of the cartel. So they need to trust each other. Because a cartel member can profit more by charging less, so by cheating on the cartel agreement. And another principle is that firms do not violate antitrust law if they merely observe what the other competitors are doing and they do the same. At least in the US, the Supreme Court has been really super clear that firms, if they observe, so they engage in what is called tacit collusion or conscious parallelisms on price, they don't violate antitrust law because it's a rational conduct. So if you are in a market and you observe your competitors and you decide to lower your price because your competitor is setting a lower price, this is legal and is rational. So the challenge, the challenge for antitrust law is to detect illegal cartels without penalizing unilateral rational conduct. And the cartel law right now, so courts know that it's unlikely that competitors write down an illegal cartel agreement. So they developed some plus factors to show evidence of a tacit agreement, of a secret agreement, illegal agreement. So these plus factors are based on economic and legal analysis. And for examples of plus factors to detect right now an illegal cartel are price parallelisms and industry characteristics. So, for example, if a market is highly concentrated or there are high barriers to entries, it's more likely that it's easier for firms to collude and engage in a cartel agreement, or regular communications among competitors. So if competitors have de facto channels to share sensitive information, this is another factor that is considered by courts to detect a cartel. So there are lists, or the conduct is the rational result of a concerned action. This is another plus factor, or competitors colluded in the past. So there are factors right now that economics and law tells us that can prove evidence of a secret cartel agreement. And also courts and economists agree that because there are high incentives to cheat on a cartel, you need also to prove some mechanisms to detect and punish cheating. And computer science is interesting because it's creating new ways to build strong cartels that can tolerate a degree of cheating. So let's see how computers build strong cartels. Computers in a distributed network, typically they need to agree on a shared value. So they need to have a consistent view and agree on a value. And as long as computers work well, there is not really a problem in achieving an agreement. But what if a computer, for example, crashes or acts arbitrarily? This latest example situation in which a computer acts arbitrarily, so is unreliable and acts in a way that looks almost malicious, is known in computer science as the Byzantine generals problem. So in the Byzantine generals problem, so it's computer scientists thought interesting, compelling the idea of describing this problem of achieving an agreement, coordinating an action, a plan in computer science when you have an unreliable computer, through describing this problem through the story of some generals from the Byzantine Empire that need to agree whether to attack or retreat an enemy city. And they know that a general can be a traitor. They can communicate by messenger only, and they know that attacking alone will be a suicide mission, so they need to coordinate, to collaborate in a way that they can achieve the same the same strategy, in a sense they can coordinate their attack on a plan, on the same plan, and get the best result, let's say. So I found this problem that exists in computer science interesting because in both situations we had in my cartel agreement situation, so the cartel cheating problem in which I have competitors that they need to rely on a trust relationship, I found compelling to draw an analogy between the Byzantine generals problem and my cartel cheating problem, because I saw that in both situations, in both scenarios, I have a trust issue and an agreement problem. So I need to reach an agreement by knowing that I have it's likely that I have a cheater, a traitor. So the computer scientists came up with the first findings by studying this problem concern the impossibility result. So computer scientists started studying this problem by looking at the situation in which you have three generals and they need to agree, and one is a traitor. So in the slide you see the commander. Okay, I haven't mentioned the commander is the general that sends us first the message, and the lieutenant are like the other generals. And you see the commander here is in red because he's the traitor. But the situation, the problem is insolvable with three generals, also if the lieutenant, for example, too, is a traitor. Let's see how, because in this there is an ambiguity of the signals that Lieutenant 1 receives, because Lieutenant 1 will always receive attack retreat in both situations, and it doesn't know who is the traitor. So the problem is impossible to solve. And in the problem with 2 is trivial, because if one of the two generals is a traitor, the remaining one cannot agree with himself. So this is why the problem the first, the computer scientists started studying this problem by considering three generals. And in my cartel situations, theoretically, this is valid also in my is valid also for my cartel situation. So it does apply also in my cartel situation, in which rather than having the generals, I have the cartel members. Let's see the solution. So computer scientists found the impossibility results with 3, but they found the solution because, yeah, we are actually using distributed system tackle this problem. So what I've done in my study was to extract from the so-called Byzantine agreements Byzantine agreement protocols, or Byzantine fault tolerant protocols, to extract the mechanisms, the techniques that are usually used to solve this problem, and to assess whether these techniques, these computer science mechanisms techniques, are captured by the plus factors that we use in antitrust to detect cartel agreements. And in case they are not, to suggest a solution to introduce them. So this slide summarizes what I will explain you now. So the mechanisms that I've identified by studying the Byzantine agreement protocols, so broadcasting, leader election, private channels, cryptography, and minimum of 4 participants. So these are the main mechanisms that I've seen used to solve the Byzantine agreement, the Byzantine generals problem. And they don't alone, like broadcasting alone doesn't solve the Byzantine generals problem. You need to combine these mechanisms with other mechanisms. So for example, leader election is often combined with cryptography to solve this problem. And so here you see the computer science mechanisms and the plus factors, the summary of my assessment, whether the law catches these mechanisms. So let's see all these one per one mechanism solutions, computer science solutions, and let's see why not they are captured by the present law. So solution 1 is related to broadcasting. So the broadcasting means that rather than having a point-to-point communication, you send the message to all computers part of the network, and the same similar mechanisms there is right now is now considered in the context of cartel, because it's quite common to have the so-called public announcements. So public announcements is when a company might make an announcement publicly, and this is not illegal, but it's a way in which competitors might decide to share information. And so because the premise of setting a price is by sharing the price, you have to find ways to channels to communicate the price with competitors. So this is why public announcements can be considered in the assessment of a cartel agreement. And broadcasting works in a similar fashion and is considered right now by my present cartel analysis. The same applies for leader election, because it's something that is widely used in Byzantine agreement protocols to tackle the Byzantine generals problem, and is also used in cartel agreements to increase the coordination by introducing a single point of coordination, because it's the leader that decides what is the agreed value after receiving the response from the other computers. So these are from my assessment already captured. The real new solutions from an antitrust perspective that I learned from computer science is the use of cryptography. Why? You might say, okay, this is the scenario that I just told you it's impossible to solve, but it's possible to solve if we can use cryptography, because cryptography implies that you can sign the message. So in this situation, the commander is a traitor. In my cartel in the coffee industry is Alex, the cartel leader, is the traitor. So he's sending attack retreat, so 2 different messages to the 2 honest lieutenants. But in this situation, if you use cryptography, if you can sign a message, Lieutenant 1 and Bob will detect the traitor because there is the signature of the commander in two different messages, attack and retreat. So in this way, Lieutenant 1, different from the previous situation, can detect who is lying, and you can isolate the traitor, and the loyal lieutenants or the loyal cartel members can reach an agreement. So it's a solution to solve the cartel agreement. Another solution, something that is widely used in computer science to tackle the Byzantine generals problem is the use of private channels. The rationale of private channels is similar to cryptography because you want to increase the security in the communication, and you typically use encryption. So you create these private channels in which you limit the malicious node to intercept the message. And it's interesting because, similar to cryptography, you can protect the communication among the honest computers, in a sense, the non-malicious computers, and protect the sharing of information. And it's something new, in a sense. Courts are not really considering either cryptography or private channels in the present assessment of cartel agreements. The most, I think, compelling solution from an antitrust perspective is the adoption, is the solution with 4 participants. Why? Because traditionally economists have said that cartels usually are unstable with many members, but according to the theorem of Lindsay Lamport, Robert Shostak, and Marshall Peace, so the authors of the Byzantine Generals Problem paper, in which is described the solution with 4 participants, you can solve the problem and tolerate less than 1/3 of cheaters with a minimum of 4 participants. And when you have at least 4, then you can tolerate less than 1/3. But there is this degree of cheating tolerance with more than 4 participants that I never heard in the field of antitrust, in the cartel analysis, and I think it's something interesting, particularly interesting for this reason. So how the problem is solved? Okay, here in this slide you see the situation in which Lieutenant 3 is a traitor, but the solution in the paper is explained also in case the commander is a traitor. So as long as you have 4 participants but you have one cheater, the solution, the generals, then the computer network can reach an agreement. So let's see, in the first, with multiple rounds of communication. So in the first round, you have the general sending, the commander sending attack, because he's honest. In the second round, you have the general one sending attack, and the malicious, the traitor, lieutenant, sending retreat. After 3 rounds, Lieutenant 2 receive attack, and retreat, which means the agreement can be achieved because there is a majority value, which is attack, and so the problem can be solved. And theoretically, this solution is valid also for my cartel situation. So it can be, the same can be said for my cartel situation, in which I have Alice, cartel member, as a traitor. So here you see how I compare the rounds of communications and the solution with 4 participants between the cheat tolerant, the cartel cheating problem, and the Byzantine generals problem. So to sum up, we have, as mentioned, the study is about how to use computer science to better detect cartel agreements that can be very anti-competitive and harmful for consumers. So now we have these legal and economic plus factors, which include price parallelisms, regular communication among competitors, industry characteristics. The conduct is the result of a concern and action, competitors colluded in the past. So what I've done is, I assess, as mentioned, whether the computer science mechanism solution are captured by these plus factors, and broadcasting we see yes, easily yes, leader election easily yes. The same doesn't apply for cryptography, private channels, and minimum for participants. So my proposal solution is that we should include these three new mechanisms as new plus factors in the cartel agreement analysis to better tackle cartel agreements, because I have the feeling that the problem is not really that companies are more honest now, so we are like detecting less cartels, but the problem is that we are probably not dealing with strong cartels appropriately in the digital setting. And thank you so much, and I look forward to receiving any questions, thoughts, any kind of comments. This is, as mentioned, the first of a paper. Is part of a series of paper I'm writing, because the problem we have in antitrust is about how to enforce competition law effectively in a digital setting. And so the intuition is that, maybe in addition to law and economics, we need also to include computer science to better understand the context in which we want to enforce this law. Because otherwise, I have the feeling that we are not truly tackling the problem, in a sense, enforcing this law effectively. But I look forward to knowing your thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Giovanna, for your presentation. It was very interesting how you can take the Byzantine fault tolerance problem, which is quite popular in consensus algorithms, and apply it in antitrust law. Looking at your presentations, since you're looking at this intersection of fields, I wanted to ask if within all the things that you consider, did you look at smart legal contracts, kind of smart regulation?
No, that's interesting. Since I haven't looked at smart contracts specifically, because my paper is like it wants to assess in general, so from a broader perspective, how computers can engage in cartel agreements. But for sure, in a sense, how I see a smart contract is basically an automation of contract terms. So rather than writing on a piece of paper the terms of a contract, you write into code. So you translate into a language that the computer can execute. And so it's, I would say, the same principle will count for a smart contract. So your question is very interesting, and for sure, it's something, that we can acknowledge, in a sense that, and it's worth to mention. So thank you so much for your question. And as mentioned, I think it applies also in the context of smart contracts, because as I see smart contracts, it's basically a different tool to write down, in a sense, terms of contracts. So thank you for.
So the idea is, because there's movement in which you can take some, for example, legislation, for example, antitrust law, and embed it into smart contract code. And so it might not relate directly to what you did, but it might lead in a kind of different direction, antitrust law.
You know what I've done in the past was to suggest the use of smart contracts to oversee the compliance of antitrust remedies.
Correct,
Yeah, because one of the main issues in antitrust is that most of antitrust cases, at least in the US, 90% of no criminal antitrust cases are settled by means consent decree. So the company reaches an agreement with the antitrust agency and and they close basically the investigation by agreeing on some remedies, but these remedies usually are like expensive to oversee, and they usually last 10 years. So I thought interesting to use smart contracts to automate the overseeing of the compliance of these remedies in the field of antitrust, because I think it reduces smart contracts are really interesting. I think not only for their potential to engage in anti-competitive conduct, so to be used by, for example, in this context, by competitors to engage in a cartel, but I think they are interesting also from an enforcement perspective to enforce for example, antitrust more efficiently. And if we think of smart contract in the context of blockchain, I don't think I would not use a blockchain to collude, honestly, because you leave evidence of collusion in like multiple computers, which you want to avoid. So it's exactly the opposite result. In a sense, one of the key characteristic of blockchain is that you can verify information because it's like stored in multiple computers. So in this way, if you collude and you use a smart contract, you leave not only a written agreement, but also like this agreement is verified, like is you can keep track in multiple computers. So
Very, very good. So we also have a question from the audience, and the
okay,
question
fantastic.
is, how would you encourage lawyers and economists to use the theory behind the cartel and Byzantine generals problem to improve their fields?
Okay, great question. So thank you so much for a person that's asked this question. So I feel in a sense, right now courts, lawyers are using these plus factors to verify whether we can define evidence of a cartel agreement. So how I will use is like these new mechanisms that I extract from computer science is by saying, if you are a lawyer of the company, okay, are you using like these mechanisms? Because what I'm saying is that if there are the legal and economic plus factors, so price parallelisms, the conduct is the rational result of a concerned action, and so on, along with these mechanisms, so competitors use private channels to exchange communication, they use cryptography and so on. These computer science mechanisms raise a red flag for like the antitrust enforcers. Like, now this red flag is raised when you see price parallelisms, you see that like competitors engage in collusive conduct in the past. So it's like an alarm in a sense. I think I found interesting this problem and the computer science solutions to this problem to inform like antitrust agency, antitrust enforcers about the possibility that computers can build strong cartels that we are not presently detecting. And in the context of, in the legal and economic context, is telling about, okay, make sure if you are dealing with this issue with your client that you might raise the use of private channels, cryptography, and so on, as elements that in the future, as right now, it's a proposal that I do. So I don't know if courts will embrace my proposal. We start looking at this mechanism. But if they do, like the other plus factors, I would make companies aware about the possibility that these elements and new elements raise red flag for the prosecutor, so for the enforcer, the antitrust enforcer.
Excellent. Thank you, Giovanna. We have another question.
Fantastic.
How do you see cartel agreements adapt to this improved detection mechanism as time goes on?
Yeah, the intuition is that as mentioned, we cannot rely on written agreement. On a written agreement. So we need to find elements that tell us, okay, these circumstantial evidence of an agreement. So, and what I need are elements that are telling me that it's likely that there is an agreement, because these elements are like enable an agreement and suggest the achievement of an agreement. So these new plus factors that I extract from computer science are telling me, okay, we should look also at the other element, because right now courts are telling me that I need to show some mechanisms to detect and punish cheating to show evidence of a cartel. Computer science is telling me, you know what, if you have 4 theoretically participants in a cartel, you can tolerate a cheater. So the cartel can go ahead, although there is a cheater, so a participant that does something that is in contrast with what the protocol says. So it's telling me something that new and that is in contrast with what economists and lawyers typically said. So I don't really need mechanisms to deter cheating if I have at least 4, because theoretically my cartel can go ahead and tolerate a cheater. And I found interesting the Lamport, Shostak, and Peace theorem, because it's telling me that this proportion, so the degree of tolerance, which is less than 1/4, counts after you reach for the minimum of 4 for like in any with any number. So it's regardless of the number, as long as you have at least 4. The number of the nodes in a computer network, or like theoretically of cartel members in a cartel agreement. So this is why, in a sense, we can theoretically prosecute cartels without asking mechanisms to detect cheating if we look at the number of cartel members, because there is a degree of cheat tolerance.
Thank you, Giovanna, for your answer. I think we're going to wrap it up. And before we let you go, we want to thank you for your time. It is quite interesting when we see research that at the intersection of different fields, because that's where we can see innovation. And we look forward, hopefully, in the future, to present us some more of those future research that you say you are going to continue going in this path. And we'll be here to hear you.
Thank you so much. I would love to share further research in this field, because I'm really an advocate of of interdisciplinary works, because I truly believe that, for example, in my field, we need to enforce law. We need to enforce law in markets, so we need to understand economics, but now markets are digital, so I need to understand how digital markets works, and these markets rely on computers and algorithms. So if I don't understand how computers behave and how they can engage in the conduct that I'm interested in differently, like in a different context. I cannot really enforce a law effectively. So I feel we are in a digital era, and it's an effort that lawyers, at least in my field, need to do. And I would welcome any further like comments, feedback. If you want to share my emails, in a sense, I will be happy to follow on with anyone in the audience. And thank you for the opportunity to share my work with you. Thank you for encouraging scholars like me to work in this field, and to deal with uncharted territories, in a sense that it's not always easy to combine different fields, but I think there is a lot of promise. So I hope other like scholars, researchers will do. And
definitely we agree with you about the combination of different fields. The preprint of Giovanna's paper is available for anyone who wants to go and get a full read of it. The recording of this will also be available, so if you want to go read the preprint and come back and compare the notes and listen directly to the author as she goes higher level explaining her paper. And you can follow Giovanna in social media. I don't know, Giovanna, if you are on Twitter, LinkedIn, or anything, other channels that people can follow you so they can see more of your work. Well, follow there so you can be up to date and see more of her research. For everyone, thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to welcome you for future presentations or work in the DLT field, and also not necessarily purely DLT, but combined with other field. Have a good day.
Thank